In case anyone has conveniently forgotten, Social Security is going broke, fast. And the last thing it needs is another load of dependents who haven't paid into the system being granted benefits. Set your watch to the year 2017, start the countdown. Another potential national embarrassment awaits. Our guest is the former district director of the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service in Houston, Texas, and author of The Shadow Catcher, a U.S. agent infiltrates Mexico's deadly crime cartel. Welcome, Hipolito Acosta, to MidPoint. Hipolito, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
This caught a lot of people by surprise here, although it really shouldn't because we've known about it. But illegal immigrants who take advantage of the president's executive actions on immigration will soon be collecting Social Security. These are people who've not paid into it. These are people who will be getting from the old age survivors and disability insurance program. This is incredible. I cannot believe simply what the actual reaction will be from people when they realize where their money's going.
Well, I think that one of the things that's important, it just goes along with what has happened for the past few decades in the whole immigration issue, which, by the way, has been neglected by our leaders throughout the decades, just looking in a different direction. The truth of the matter, many of the illegals are actually paying to Social Security, maybe not with their proper identification, sometimes with stolen identities. Many times we don't even know. I think it goes beyond the issue where we need to address the immigration issue. The lack of interior enforcement, you'll hear me say over and over, is exactly what has put us in the situation we are today. And by the way, in this proposal, this executive order by President Obama is just a continuation of mistakes over the years. And it's hard for me to believe that they can't get it right, because it's not all that difficult to address the immigration issue.
Well, here's two things that I wanted to get your comment on. And first of all is this scam that's just been broken in Los Angeles. Federal authorities getting involved in a pay-to-stay visa fraud scam. Foreign nationals stay in the U.S. by attending vocational schools without attending classes. They say they had 300 people sitting in the class and they found one person here. Is this as widespread? This is just one instance, but do you think this happens a whole lot more?
Oh, this has happened a whole bunch of times. I used to be assigned to the U.S. Embassy in Manila, and I personally did an undercover case where we had a guy bringing in medical technicians for $5,000 a piece that were not going anywhere close to a medical facility. So, I mean, we're talking about 10 or 15 years down the road. So if you look at what has happened today in Los Angeles, that has continued. And there's another point on that issue. These are individuals that were actually going to our U.S. embassies and your U.S. consulates where they were issued their visas. My question is, what is the State Department doing to train their officers to detect this kind of fraud, and what kind of coordination is being done between the anti-fraud offices at the U.S. embassies in Seoul and China to coordinate with our officers stateside? I applaud the officers that address this issue in Los Angeles, but this is only just one area. You're entirely correct. If you look at other places in Florida, New York City, other nationalities, and there's security concerns for our country, because if I remember correctly, they reported that they had 1,500 people that were issued visas to attend those schools that were in other states. Now, 1,495 might be coming in to work legally or try to stay in the United States. But all we need is one person to be wrong or want to do us harm, and we already know what has happened in the past.
I only got about 30 seconds left. Quickly, we keep hearing these stories about major American corporations that are basically helping people come across the border to make sure they get cheap labor. True?
Oh, it's very true. Look, for decades, our politicians have looked the other way, and we have no interior enforcement. And even now, companies that get audited, all they have to do is when they're found out that they might have 200 or 300 illegal aliens, all they're required to do is to fire them. They don't get arrested, they don't get deported, they don't get placed in deportation proceedings. The companies are told that they can't be employed, and all these people do is take the same identities that we're talking about, go down the street and get hired by someone else. So what is causing all this illegal immigration? The employers who continue to be the magnet bringing those people across the border.
Boy, we got to look into this a little deeper when we have some more time. I want to remind everybody the book is called The Shadow Catcher. A U.S. agent infiltrates Mexico's deadly crime cartel. Hipolito Acosta, thanks so much for joining us. We will talk again soon.
Thank you so much.
All right, take care. The real story from Oklahoma and the racist frat chant next.